You know that feeling when you're walking into a salary negotiation? You've practiced and you've researched and you've Googled and what's the market rate for this job? You've hyped yourself up. You have the confidence. I'm worth more than this. But then 5 minutes into the conversation, they hit you with an offer and suddenly your brain short circuits. Well, picture this. You're sitting in the meeting room, or maybe it's a Zoom call because remote life. The recruiter's smiling at you, polite, but just a little too polished, and they've done this a million times. And then the moment comes. We're thrilled to offer you two options. Option A is $65K a year with unlimited PTO and flexible hours, or option B, $70K, but you only get 2 weeks of PTO. And suddenly you feel like you're on a game show. You're sitting there thinking to yourself, oh man, do I go for the money or do I go for the freedom, the unlimited PTO? But it feels like if you don't pick right now, they're just going to take the whole offer off the table. What's actually happening here is salary psychology, and this is called the decoy offer, because you see what's actually happening here, right? This isn't a choice between these two offers they're giving you. This is a trap, and they've already won the negotiation because you're doing exactly what they want. Comparing two terrible options instead of questioning if either one of those is good enough for you. They've already won. The psychological trick here is called the decoy effect, and it leverages perceived autonomy. So let me break down what that means. Essentially, when you're presented with two options, one of which is designed to be slightly worse, it makes the other option seem like an automatic win. The company's already designed both of those options, but here's the thing. Both of those options have already been engineered to benefit the company. They've already done the math. From their perspective, it's like, let's give them a choice that feels generous, and hey, if they pick the other one with fewer benefits, that's even better. And the best part from the company's perspective is that you feel like you're in control. And this is what's called perceived autonomy. By giving you options, they trick your brain into thinking, oh, I have power here. They've given me some choices. But really, you're just choosing between two outcomes they've already planned. And then you're not even negotiating anymore. You're playing their game. And you ever notice when they give you these choices, there's this weird pressure to answer right away? That's not an accident. That's by design, to create artificial urgency. It's kind of like when you're shopping online on Amazon and you see only 2 left in stock. That one-click buy button becomes real dangerous. Maybe you don't want it could be that you don't want either option. Maybe you deserve $80K with great benefits and PTO. But because they framed this conversation so well, so carefully, you're just kind of stuck thinking, I guess $70K isn't so bad, especially when you compare it to the other offer. Now you're negotiating against yourself between their two terrible offers. And this works so well because once you start comparing the options, your brain's locked in. And this is called cognitive narrowing. Instead of evaluating your worth in the market, you're zooming in on which option feels less bad. It's sort of the same reason you feel proud of getting 10% off a product that was already 10% overpriced. You think that you're winning, but you're not even playing the right game. So here's what you can do with the decoy offer. The first thing is stop. Don't compare two options. Instead, zoom out and ask yourself, what am I actually worth in this market? What do I bring to the table? And most importantly, do either of those options reflect your value? If you realize they might be doing something like this, designed to box you in, then just hit them with something like this. You know what? Thank you for the offer. I appreciate the flexibility between the two, but based on my experience and the market data I've seen, I believe a more competitive package would be $80K with benefits, and I'm happy to discuss how we can make that work. So what you've done is something really powerful. You've just reframed the entire negotiation. You've taken control of it and forced them to consider a number one they didn't expect. By doing that, you've just done something very powerful. You've reframed the negotiation and you've taken control of the conversation and forced them to consider a number that they didn't even expect. There's almost always room to negotiate, even when they say there isn't. But this isn't the only way companies pull this off. There's another one called the budget freeze bluff. They might say something like, we'd love to offer you more, but there's a budget freeze right now. Yeah, I know. If they want you bad enough, that budget will magically unfreeze itself. Or they might do the classic, this is our best and final offer, until you push back and suddenly you find an extra 5K. It's funny how that works. Or they might try the old let's revisit it later trick where they give you an initial offer and then promise to follow up in 6 months. And unless that's in writing, it's not real. And even if it is, you don't own the company, so the budget still just might be frozen or whatever. The takeaway here is don't let companies control the frame of these conversations. Companies are good at this. They've been training for it for years. If you want to learn more about these techniques in detail and what you can do to counter them, then check out my courses Hacking the Resume and Hacking the Interview at joshuafluke.store. And if you enjoyed this style of video, then do me a favor, click the like button and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.